Let me unpack four takeaways I had from watching season one of Pachinko. Here's my first takeaway. Sunja feels like a level 5 leader to me. What do I mean by that? In his bestseller, Good to Great, Jim Collins describes a level 5 leader. He says, the most potentially powerful, transformative executives possess this paradoxical mixture of personal humility on one hand and professional will. They're timid and they're ferocious. They're shy and they're fearless. They are rare, he says. They are unstoppable. In season one, we follow the trajectory, the arc of Sunja's life through 8 decades. While she never becomes an executive, at least not in season one, or even what might qualify as professional, we watch in awe and admiration because she embodies unstoppable. The lesson for us, Collins would affirm, is don't write off anyone. In the opening episode, the viewer isn't even sure that this diminutive, frail, starving young woman will even survive another few months. Then follow the trajectory of her amazing life. Wait until you see her in her early 90s. It's the same Sunja, but much, much more. My second takeaway, there are generational gifts and generational Han. In Pachinko, in each major character, we watch how the strengths and flaws of one generation surface in their progeny and sometimes in their progeny. We see both nature and nurture melding into each major character. Now, there is also generational Han, which is a uniquely Korean word. Korean theologian Young Hak Hyun graphically describes Han. Han is a sense of unresolved resentment against injustice suffered, a sense of helplessness because of the overwhelming odds against, a feeling of acute pain, of sorrow in one's guts and bowels, making the whole body writhe and wiggle, and an obstinate urge to take revenge and to right the wrong, all these combined. Wow, right? Andrew Sung Park in Racial Conflict and Healing adds, Koreans believe themselves to be a Han-ridden people, a people whose deep psychological wound has become their collective consciousness. Pachinko captures the depth and the consequences of Han, not in singular incidents, but in a long trajectory that illustrates its impact on both individuals and an entire people group in Korea, in Japan, and in America. My third takeaway, the power and beauty of white rice. What? Isn't white rice not that healthy? Shouldn't we be eating brown rice? There are 2 episodes in Pachinko where white rice plays a starring and impactful role. Under Japanese occupation in Korea, it was essentially forbidden for Koreans to eat white rice. It was only for the Japanese elites. A Korean could get arrested if caught eating white rice. In these 2 episodes, Koreans are served white rice. It literally brings them to tears. Can food actually do that? Apparently. If it represents something so core to your culture and you have been denied it. Growing up in my own home with 2 second-generation Japanese American parents who grew up during the Depression and then sent to prison camps as teenagers, white rice was also something special, almost sacred. It was always served in our home in a chawan, a rice bowl. It was a house rule that we could not leave the dinner table unless every grain of rice was eaten. And when I watched these 2 episodes about white rice in Pachinko, it sent this charge through me. Yes, I get it. I remember. My fourth and final takeaway. I am embraced by Koreans, and it blows me away. The Han Koreans experience, due to their treatment by the Japanese, especially Korean women, is real and it's understandable. So back in the 1970s, I had learned for the first time about the Japanese American prison camps in any depth. I thought, wait, I wasn't taught this in American history textbooks growing up. Why weren't we taught this? And it was too difficult for our parents to really tell us about it. So sorry. In the 90s, I began a serious study of Asian history from a non-Japanese perspective. This time, as I read about Korean history, it felt like deja vu. Why wasn't I told about Korean comfort women? How could my people treat another Asian nation so inhumanely? While I didn't personally commit these atrocities, the people in whom I had my roots did. I don't fully understand it, and I can't explain it, but owning the deeds and misdeeds of one's forebears comes with being part of the human family. And Asians, with our strong family and communal values, we may feel this even more strongly than more individualistic cultures. Ironically, around the same time in the early 90s, I started receiving invitations to speak at conferences, Korean American church conferences. Did they know they were inviting someone of Japanese descent? In my musings, I wondered, do they think my name is To, not Tokunaga? And it sounded kind of Korean. I accepted the invitations, and with nervousness and wariness, I spoke at their conferences. And I asked the 1.5 young leaders who were running the conferences, do your elders know that I'm Japanese? They smiled. It started at these conferences, and it continues to this day. Koreans and Korean Americans have embraced me. I don't know if they think it wasn't Paul who did those things to our people, or we've forgiven your people, Paul, and we've forgiven you. What I do know is this. This Tokunaga has been deeply loved by Cha, Chung, Kim, and there are many of them, Lee, many of them too, Chang, Ra, Shin, Hyun, Kong, Lim, Gibbons, yes, Gibbons. The list goes on and on. So what right do I have, having been so accepted and loved so deeply by another people group, what right do I have to dare dismiss, to dare deny, to dare flat out hate anyone who doesn't look exactly like me?